One of the things that we see a lot more and more of these days is microtransactions, loot boxes, and the like. But now, those things are starting to creep into our single-player games, and I'm going to talk about that right now. What is going on, guys? Randall, Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And yeah, I have tons of requests to actually talk specifically about this topic, about loot boxes in Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of War, one of the most anticipated games, not only for myself, but for a lot of other people this year. So they made this announcement yesterday after a live stream kind of inadvertently showed them off. Well, they went to their forums and they started talking about the loot chests and all the things you can buy. And of course, when they mean buy, yes, you be able to use money or things you earn in-game. But of course, if you just don't have the time, you can throw Warner Brothers, Microsoft, and Sony a little extra money, real money, to kind of cut down on the grind. And I'm going to talk about this, my feelings towards it, if people are overacting, because, man, I have seen a lot of people suddenly say they're no longer interested in playing this game. Now, oh man, Warner Brothers is a publisher that loves to do this for all their games. Mortal Kombat 10, they literally sold fatalities for money. Easy fatalities. Injustice 2 has that system. A lot of their games have this stuff. So I'm not really surprised that Middle of Earth, Shadow of War, has this loot crate system, right? It is weird, though, to have it in a single-player game. Like, I know, when talking about this stuff, we normally talk about it in the sense of multiplayer. Overwatch and its loot boxes, Gears of War 4 and its, Gears chests, Halo 5 and its Rex pack system. I think even Uncharted has some of that stuff. But a lot of the huge multiplayer games, even Rainbow Six Siege, for the long time, Rainbow Six Siege didn't even have that type of stuff. You just kind of bought what you wanted, even though it was expensive, but now you have the alpha packs in Rainbow Six Siege. So this stuff is becoming more and more common in multiplayer. Now, the only good thing about that is, in a lot of those games like Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege, it's just cosmetic. And I don't really have an issue with it being cosmetic, because I'm not the type of person that is going to spend any more money than I have to on a game. Yeah, I might buy DLC if it has some good content, but I'm not spending $3 or $4 to buy a red gun for my game. That's just not who I am. Now, as you guys know, I really enjoy single-player games, and I'm really looking forward to this game. So let's take a look at what the microtransactions and what they are going to include in this game. So through this market, right, you can purchase loot chest, war chest, XP boosts, and bundles. Obviously, you can only get it with an internet connection. Now, the loot chests will contain gear, weapons, and armor of varying rarity, of course, because you got to have the rarity. You got to have the uncommons and the rares and the legendaries to, get that dopamine drip in your brain going when, like, you get that rare item and then you get a legendary. People feel happy. It's all, like, science-based and gambling and stuff. I mean, there's articles done about that with Destiny and things like that, and they're just applying it to this single-player game. So, equipping and upgrading these weapons and armor enhance Talion's character abilities. Loot chests also contain XP boosts to help level them up faster. War chests provide orc followers of varying rarity to help forge a strong armor. I mean, geez, you can buy orcs in this game out of chests. Interesting. They also contain training orders to level up and customize orc followers. XP boosts are consumables that help level up Talion faster, and bundle packages, loot chests, war chests, and all that stuff together. To purchase those items, you can spend Mirian or gold throughout the game. Now, as always in these type of games, they will make sure to tell you that you can buy these things while earning it in-game, right? So Mirian is an in-game currency that you can get by defeating treasure orcs, destroying gear for Mirian. So gear that you get that you don't want anymore, I'm assuming you can scrap to get Mirian, right? Destroying orc followers for gear, which can then be destroyed for Mirian, and finding Mirian stashes throughout the game. I wonder how many Mirian stashes there are going to be in that game. And I also wonder how many treasure orcs you're actually going to come across. And I'm going to talk about that later, about about why this is a big deal to a lot of people, right? But here you go. Gold, though, is another form of in-game currency that can be used to get higher level loot, chests, war chests, boosts, and all that stuff, right? Gold can be acquired through purchasing through the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, or Steam Wallet. You get awarded in small amounts at specific milestones, so I wonder if that's store related, like they'll throw you a bone, give you some gold to go actually kind of like a drug dealer, give you that first taste for free. Oh, here's some gold, man. Here's some little gold. And then you go out to the store and buy some cool ass gear for Talion. You get that taste for free. But then you come back. But you got to pay for the second and third, man. Kind of like a drug dealer. Awarded for participating in community challenges. Now, I believe they do offer these. I want to think there was community challenges in the first game, if I'm not mistaken. So that is all the stuff. And it says here, please note, no content in the game is gated by gold. All content can be acquired naturally through normal gameplay. And you earn Mirian the same way, basically. But man, people are freaking out about it. And here's my kind of things. Like, I want to know, first off, I want to know how much this is going to impact my enjoyment of the game, because that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to play this game without needing to buy anything. I hate buying microtransactions. I just don't like doing it. So if it's unintrusive, if they don't scale the leveling to make it seem like you need to buy these things, and I can get through the entire game, get all the achievements if I want, beat the game without feeling harassed or like I need to buy those things, then I'm probably cool with it. But let me rephrase that though. I'm not necessarily cool with it, right? Because these stuff really shouldn't be in single-player games in the first place. And honestly, they really shouldn't be in any game that you pay full price for because you paid for the entire experience. Like, they should only really, realistically be in free-to-play games, a game that you can play for free, which then some people, the whales will fund. But it's that these companies are trying to have their cake and eat it too. They want to sell you a $60 game at full price, but then also sell you a season pass at more than half the price, and then still sell you these microtransactions so they can make as much revenue as possible. Now, I've heard the argument that, hey, Rand, games are expensive to make, and I've heard that too. In my talks with a lot of people at Xbox, they always say games are super expensive to make, and these microtransactions are fundamental to keeping those games profitable, because at the end of the day, these video games are businesses for these corporations. If there's no money in making video games, then they won't make video games, which means we won't be able to play them, right? I get that. And also, the other kind of argument, or the argument is like, I'm okay with this being in microtransactions because this keeps the games at $60 instead of raising the prices to $80. And I've heard that if they did raise these game prices higher to $70 or $80, that would help out tremendously. But of course, they don't want to try it because gamers bitch about everything, and maybe people would buy less games. So I'm sure they're probably looking at the cost analysis of, what happens if we raise the price of this game to $70? How many people will not buy it? What's the loss in revenue that we would, get? But then, so there's a whole bunch of things they would have to look into. And it's sad to see all this stuff permeate through pretty much all the games, man. All the games. Like, I with Overwatch and those type of stuff, like, I kind of just ignore it because it's cosmetic. And I'm one of those people that's just like, I'm never going to buy it. And I know people do. And I know people buy it by the bucket load, because if they didn't, they wouldn't waste their time putting these things in the game. So people spend a lot of money in it. But now we're getting into single-player games, the stuff that I love. And it won't be long until this stuff is in all the single player games. Because games are only going to get more expensive, and if they're going to keep it at $60, then you damn well know that they're gonna try to do as much as they can to make as much money as possible. And I really hope, honestly hope, they haven't screwed the game over in any way, right? That everything is kept normal, and they're just trying to sell people the idea of not wasting their time. Because gamers are an old bunch. They're around my age. I'm 35. They assume that we have more money than we do have time. So this is all presented as, hey, you know what? We know you don't have a lot of time anymore, Rand. So just throw us $10, and instead of grinding for hours getting Italian from level 10 to level 20, you can instantly be at level 20 and continue on with the main story. Now that presents a couple kind of bad things. Like, if they're offering you the opportunity to skip segments of the game, are they implying that those segments of the game aren't fun, right? Is that what the implication is? Because if you're letting me skip it and you're the developer, did you put in something that is not fun? Why would I want to skip a part of your game that you put in there? So I kind of think that. And then, look, and there's also the other idea that as kids grow up, right, younger kids, people who grew up with free-to-play games, that are playing Overwatch and Rainbows and everything, they're getting all this shoved in their face, all this microtransactions, that they're going to grow up in a world of video games where they know nothing but microtransactions, and they think these things are normal, and it's no big deal to buy these things from these single-player games. Now, we older gamers know this isn't the case. I've been gaming since the NES, you know? And we've seen how from the 360 to the One, or the PS3 to the PS4, how gaming has changed. Remember, we were all there when we saw the outrage when EA introduced the online pass. Oh, if you bought a used game, throw us $10, you can play online. Thankfully, they got rid of that, probably because they realized that they could make more money by selling you these type of things online, that they want people to come online to spend more money. So it was in EA's best interest to completely drop that thing. They want people to come online. They want people to engage with their game. They want people to play their games forever. And they want people to basically buy this stuff. And now it's intruding in the single player. Now, I'm not sure if this is the first game to have this in single player. In fact, I know it's not, because Assassin's Creeds, since like Brotherhood, have had stuff like this, where you could buy armor pieces for your Assassin's Creed character, and you can buy boosts and stuff. And I played pretty much all the Assassin's Creeds that had those functions in them, and I never felt like I had to buy those things. They were just there for people with more money than time, essentially. So I've played games with this idea, not necessarily, where you could buy stuff, but I'm still gonna wait and see. I want to see how this is implemented. Are they gonna ram this shit down your throat? Because I don't want to see menus, and I don't want to see pop-ups like, oh, Rand, you could go fight this boss, but you're not the highest level. Why don't you take a trip to the store? Because if it's intrusive in the game, then that's gonna take me out of the experience, and that's bullshit, right? So it better not be intrusive, and they better not have screwed around with the leveling mechanics and the way you get all this other stuff. Because I don't want to feel the need of like, you know what? I gotta spend the next 10 hours grinding this stuff to get these orcs to build this fortress. I don't want to have to like, oh, well, maybe I just go throw them some money. You know what I mean? Like, they better not have screwed around with the leveling aspect to force people to think about buying things. And of course, we'll never know if they did or not, because we've never played this game before, so we won't know what it was like. So I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach on this. I will say, though, that I do not like microtransactions, loot boxes in single-player games. I turn a blind eye to them in multiplayer games, just because. And this is only for cosmetic, because the pay-to-win stuff is ridiculous. Like, screw pay-to-win. Like, I'm not a fan of that. If it's pay-to-win, then screw that noise. That's terrible. But if it's cosmetic stuff, I don't mind. Now, an interesting thing here is I remember having this conversation with my buddy, Mr. Black Magic, a while back. And, you know, we were very adamant about, like, not supporting this type of stuff, right? And he said, or the conversation was like, if you buy this game and not buy the loot chest or the war chest or XP boost, you're sending a message to Warner Brothers or whatever that you're not down with that. But I don't necessarily agree with that statement, because how do they know you're not, you know, you bought the game, how do they know you're against that aspect? The only way they would know you're against the aspect of loot chests and, you know, all that stuff in a single player game is if you basically don't buy the game, period. If you want to take a stand and you want to make sure that this crap doesn't make it in single player games, then the only way to go about it is to not buy the game, period. Because if you buy the game, period, if you buy the game, you're not really saying much. But if you don't buy the game and you send that message that this isn't going to stand, that's the only way to send a clear and concise message that you don't and you will not stand for these type of single-player loot chests and stuff. But gamers are a fickle bunch, and we want our stuff now. And yeah, people today, August 5th, are saying, I'm not going to buy this game. Screw this game. I'll wait for the bargain bin. But then the hype and the marketing will hit for this game. And then the reviews will come out. And if the reviews are really well and the game looks great and the game is amazing, a lot of gamers tend to backpedal on that stuff and they want to play the game. So we'll see how many people stand firm on this stuff. Myself, I don't want to overreact, because I've overreacted in the past to certain things. But I will make a video if this stuff is completely intrusive and if I feel they've somehow slowed down the leveling process to make you want or need to buy this stuff. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, if you haven't, my last video, if you haven't checked it out, I went through all 900 games I own on the Xbox One. Pretty big collection, so if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I know this video went on probably longer than I thought. I maybe have rambled a little bit, but, you know, I had a lot to say about this particular topic, and it was suggested and requested by a lot of people out there. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more content. Hit that bell to be notified every time I upload new videos. Share this out with all your friends and followers on Twitter. And I will see everybody in the next video. Later.